So I flew to Israel and investigated 2 ingredients, one of which was ThymoQuin. This herb has been around for thousands of years. Why do you think people still use it? Because it works. But it wasn't until the 1960s where scientists were like, hey, that's really cool, you know? We know that black seed's been around, people use them medicinally, but let's dive into what makes it tick. And that's when we learned about one of the key ingredients or compounds found in that herb called ThymoQuinone. Don't remember any of these things. I have a few things that I'll tell you to remember. Some of the terms I'm going to use today are a little technical. Try not to remember those. There's just a few take-home points I want you to carry with you so you can share with your friends, your family, and improve your overall health. So black cumin seed and black seed, first of all, are interchangeable names. Matter of fact, if you go to your health food store and look for black seed oil, you might see 10, 15 different brands of it sitting there, but they're not all created equal. And this is where ThymoQuin, again, using Mark's words against them, best in class. Man, you guys nailed it with this one. Good job, Marty, on all your research. ThymoQuin contains the exact precise amount of ThymoQuinone to give the best results. These were 7 other brands comparatively. And I know it's a sciencey chart, so NO production, percentage of inhibition means NO is nitric oxide. It's a compound the body normally produces. And when it produces too much of it, it triggers inflammation. Not just inflammation for your joints, but any other part of your body. We now know that inflammation is linked to cardiovascular disease and immune health challenges and eye issues and such. So this is the test they do to measure whether or not something works for inflammation. And in the case of inhibiting nitric oxide production, that shows that it has a more powerful effect at decreasing the body's inflammatory response, which is what we all want. So you can see, just in this chart alone, compared to all the other black seed products that were on the market, it was far superior to helping the body suppress inflammation. But that's not the only thing. So ThymoQuinone at 3%, yeah, that's great, but what makes ThymoQuin really stand apart above and beyond is the way it's extracted, it's cold pressed, and the way it's harvested. They only use fresh seeds. Why is that important? Well, fresh seeds and the cold compression extraction process enhances the exact ratio of the compounds found in the black seed to give it the best results. So I already mentioned you need the precise amount. You need 3% of ThymoQuinone. When you do a Google search on ThymoQuin, you'll see hundreds of research projects that are done on ThymoQuinone. But it's not just ThymoQuinone that matters. It's the amount of free fatty acids that are left behind. The higher the concentration of free fatty acids, the more or less inhibition happens. So you basically are decreasing your product. Talk about stand alone, stand out from any other product, just like the pycnogenol mentioned before. And by the way, I've written hundreds of articles and spoken probably hundreds of times on the benefits of pycnogenol, so we all know how great that is. ThymoQuin is like its partner in marriage. And so we have the precise low levels of free fatty acids because we use fresh seeds, cold pressed. We also have 2 other compounds, these biological compounds that are important. Again, kind of like ThymoQuin needs to be at a certain level. Same thing with the chemical compound P-thymine. Research showed that when it was exactly at 1% and you combined it with ThymoQuinone at 3%, you got not only just this 1+1 thing, but you got synergy on its ability to fight inflammation. That's what you want. I don't want to take 2 things to get 2 things out of it. I want to take 2 things to get 6 things out of it, right? That's how we get the better effect. Right on, bring it on, that's right, exactly. You guys did a great job here at Market America. This is something you need to pay attention, I'll tell you. And the last compound, again, all scientific mumbo-jumbo names, carvacrol. Again, this is one of those things, kind of like the free fatty acids. If it's in too high of a level, you're gonna decrease the effectiveness. Here's the really cool part about this black seed oil called ThymoQuin. Because it's so unique, with these ratios all being in the exact amount to give you the best results that you can have and get, they filed for a composition patent. You just don't do that with some willy-nilly product. You have to prove it to the US Patent and Trademark Office that this stuff works, and it does these things. So you're lucky to be a part of Market America in this introduction.
Absolutely.
Talk about science and a clinical study done at New York Medical College, that's great. But when you get a clinical study published, that's like the seal of approval from your peers in the science world. Clinical study published showing not only this whole effect on decreasing inflammation, but improving your blood glucose. Who doesn't have concerns with blood sugar? I mean, I worry about it, and I'm a healthy dude. Decreasing your blood fat, so people have cardiovascular concerns. Decreasing blood pressure. No, it's not a replacement for your blood pressure medicine, but hey, it could be the start to you possibly getting off your med when you work with your healthcare provider. And last but not least, decreasing hepatic fat. You're going to learn a lot more over the next decade about fatty liver and fatty liver disease, and one of the benefits that ThymoQuin has is helping to decrease the amount of fat in your liver. It's rampant in the United States because of people and obesity and blood sugar issues. So again, scientifically substantiated, going along with what Mark talked about earlier. This company is not about just throwing willy-nilly things. It goes through a two-step process, and this is all part of that process. Last but not least, farm, you want traceability. If you're looking for the best ingredient, I want to know where it came from and where it's been and where it's going to from there and to there until it finally ends up in my hand and going into my mouth. And with this, everything's done in one location in the southern desert of Israel. It's raised, control the seeds, cultivation, it's all processed right there on site. That way the seeds are fresh. And hey, guess what? You guys are now part of probably the newest, latest, greatest thing.